Welcome to Islington Cams. Young people have told us that when accessing information online, they find videos easier to understand, will remember the information more easily, and find videos much more interesting. So we've taken this feedback on board and have created some videos based on young people's ideas about what to expect when coming to Cams. Young people came up with the idea about having a question and answer panel video, and also came up with questions and the types of information that they would want to know if coming to Cams for the first time.
Hello, I'm David Pentecost. I'm a family therapist.
Yvonne Miller, and I'm a clinical psychologist.
Hi, I'm Peter Fugel. I'm the clinical director of the service.
Hello, I'm Sarah Sadlowski, and I'm a clinical psychologist.
What do camps help with, and what do they offer?
I'm going to answer that question. We see children and parents from the age of children being from babies from 0 to 18 and their parents. Sometimes we see young people on their own and they don't come with their parents. Really, we're a service for children and families where they have worries, anxieties, problems, difficulties in coping with life. And I think it's important to say that everybody has worries from time to time, but what we're here for is when the worries become too much or too often, or they go on for too long and they become more of a sort of a really big problem, or they're sort of too intense, and then we might think of them as being not just a worry but more like anxiety or depression, so the sort of emotions become much more severe. And what we would do is we meet with children, young people and families, and then we work out what the main problem is, and agree with them a way forwards. And it could be that we see them on their own if it's a young person, or if it's a young child we might see them with their parents. We may meet them as a whole family, and we might do family therapy, which is seeing everybody all together, or it might be an individual approach, doing some problem solving, cognitive behaviour therapy, which looks at how you think about your problems and trying to help you to think differently. You could see a psychotherapist who helps you to think, or even play with young children to help them solve their problems. And as we go along, we tend to ask young people how we're doing, so to sort of measure, is the problem still as big as it was at the beginning? And we keep asking until things start to improve.
How do I get to come to this service?
That's me. I'm going to do that one. So we try and make it as easy as possible for young people and their families to come to the service. That's in Islington, that's one of our big ambitions. And usually how it starts is that some grown-up, some adult, becomes worried about a young person. I mean, occasionally young people might refer themselves directly, but usually it's a worried adult, and it could be a parent, a teacher, a social worker, a GP. It could be any of, or I mean, those are the main people that contact us. They can contact us by phone, and they can contact us by letter, and tell us about the things that they're worried about a young person, and then we discuss with them and work out a way that we can try to be helpful. And we see kids in schools, children's centres, at the main centre here at the Northern Health Centre, and sometimes in other locations if children are a bit nervous of meeting us in those particular locations. But in the main, those are the main places that we see kids. So our intention all the time is to try to make that process as easy as possible, even though we're aware that for young people, coming to services like this might be, there might be some nervousness about what it might be like to come to a service with the title of a mental health service.
What happens in the first appointment?
Okay, well I think we spend quite a bit of time thinking about who needs to come to the first appointment, and we'll make sure that as far as possible everybody's included in thinking about who needs to be there, and young people are offered an opportunity to say whether they want to come or whether they don't want want to come, and that anybody who's not included is aware that the appointment's taking place. Where you'll be seen, well, we try and plan services so that they're closest to people's homes, but as Peter said, that there are a variety of settings where people are seen. Some people, young people are seen in school, sometimes families come here to a clinic, or it might be in children's centres or other places. Where you'll actually be seen will be in a space, it's always in a space that is quiet, dedicated just for people to talk and to share some of the things that are on their mind. So you won't be interrupted, and that if it's with younger children, there'll be toys, and we try and get an environment that suits. And you won't be overheard. It's that kind of place. It's not in a busy environment. What happens? Well, generally appointments last for about an hour, and the first bit will always be trying to get people to feel at ease in talking about what's on their minds. There will be questions, because I guess CAMS workers want to know how they can be helpful and find out what's on your mind about the help you need. And we generally allow an hour for this. It can be shorter, but generally it's an hour. And we ensure that everybody who comes gets a chance to speak. Towards the end of that first appointment, what we'll try and do is share with everybody that do we really understand why you're here, and have we really got a clear picture of what it is you need and how we can be helpful, and try and decide, is CAMS the right place, or should a service be provided elsewhere by a different service that's more appropriate. So that's what we'll try and do at the end of that session, and then make some decisions. At the end of the first appointment, just agree who, if you're going to come again, who's going to come to the next appointment. And when that is agreed, what we always try and do is try and get them on a regular basis, so people can predict when they're going to be seen next. And though it doesn't always happen that after the first appointment you see the same person again, we do try, wherever possible, because people build a relationship, for them to see the same person as frequently as they need. And we try not to change that whilst people have got to know one another and working on things. As the work goes on, as Yvonne was saying, we would review it regularly. Sometimes we do that through questionnaires, but we also try and find out, is this enough? Have we done enough? And or do we need to go on for a few more sessions? And then we always jointly decide with people in the family when a piece of work comes to an end.
Will I be seen straight away?
If your difficulty is really urgent, we will prioritise. We cannot see young people on the same day. If it's that urgent, we recommend that the young person goes to A&E, to our local hospital. But for an urgent appointment, we would see within 1 to 2 weeks. Otherwise, a standard first appointment would be more like 6 to 8 weeks.
What should I wear to my appointment?
Young people and families can wear whatever they feel comfortable in to the first appointment.
If I tell you something in my session, will it be kept private?
Yeah, this is a very important question. When young people come here, they tell us about things that are both private, important, and sometimes very distressing. And we have one of the really important things of our job is to treat that information with enormous respect. And it's part of the privilege of the work that we do that children tell us about these things. So it's enormously important. We attend to this in several ways. Firstly, it's really important that we're clear with young people how we share this information, if we are going to share it with other people, particularly with other members of their family. So often young people might tell us things, they might tell us things that their parents don't know. So we need to be clear with them, if they're going to tell us these things, whether we're going to share it with their parents or not. So the intention always is to be transparent, to be straightforward with children as to, if they tell us things, who we're going to tell it, who we're going to tell. And members of their family is often an important thing, as to be clear whether we're going to tell members of the family or not what they tell us. There are certain things that we're obliged to tell other people about. If we're concerned about the safety of children, if they're doing things that are dangerous, risky, or harming themselves, then we have a duty to tell adults who can try to ensure that they are safe. Those adults may include, or likely to include, their parents, always, but usually will include their parents, but also other agencies who have a duty of responsibility to keep children safe. So if there are children who are at risk of any harm, we will often have a responsibility to inform social care about that. Now, what we try to do is to be straightforward with children from the beginning, that is our responsibility, and that's what we want to do. What I would like to emphasise, though, is that the majority of things that children tell us that are important, we don't need to share with anyone. We certainly don't want to share with them in ways that they don't agree with, and that is the majority of the times that we're working with kids. It is the exception that we would share information with other people without their agreement, but there are times when we absolutely will be required to do that.
What happens at the end of our journey to CAMS?
The journey to ending in CAMS is different really for everyone, and usually what will happen is the young person or the family will agree jointly to end with their CAMS worker. However, this isn't the case for everyone. Sometimes people are also referred to other agencies that might be helpful for the family, and if CAMS isn't right at that point in time, people are welcome to come back at a time where they feel perhaps more ready to come to CAMS.
Do you have any other messages that you'd like to give young people coming to CAMS?
Well, I mean, there's one as one of the leaders of the service. I suppose I would just want to express a real welcome to young people, and that a kind of to express our wish to make this place as welcoming and as safe as we can for young people to come and tell us the things that they may feel the wish to want to tell and explore and understand better. So I suppose what I would want to add to that is, as well as a welcome and a kind of wish to do this, is that it's sort of obvious, I suppose, in a way, that someone like myself needs to be humble about the fact that I may find it a little bit difficult to remember what it's like to be 5 or 7 or 12 or 15. That we need all the time to get feedback from young people about what it's like for them to come to places like this, to meet with people who are older and different from them in all sorts of ways, and that we're never going to get this completely right unless we listen very hard to what their experience is of coming here. So I suppose one of the big messages we would like to have is that this service is going to benefit hugely from hearing from young people how they find it.